All right, thanks, John. I appreciate it. So, hey, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. I've had a good time chatting with those who we chatted with earlier. My name is Mark Poderis. My company is called Dala. And what we're doing is we're helping underserved families access the banking system, but then more importantly, stay in the banking system as well. And to give you a sense about why I care about these low-income families now, it all goes back to an exchange I had with my father probably about 3 years ago. So he was we're from a blue-collar, middle-class family down in Willow Grove, and he was with his employer for 25 years at the time. And I had just moved into kind of the white-collar corporate America world. I was working in pharma over in New Jersey, and things were great for me. And then I'm out with my father one evening, and he says, I've been with my employer for 25 years, and they gave me a bonus, safe driving 25 years on the bus. And he said that bonus, it was $350 is what they valued. Yeah, it's what they valued him at. And, that's a long time, right? And so personally, I was hurt by that, hearing that, right? And so what I did was, after that exchange, maybe about 2 weeks later, I sat down and I said, what can I do as an individual to improve the financial position of other people like my dad and people who are worse off than my dad, because there's a lot of people who have even less income than what he was making. And so, I was working in finance, I was working in procurement, I kind of put my finance hat on, and I said, well, all right, there's really only two sides to this equation. You can either increase people's income, you can grow the top line, or you can manage their expense and lower their cost of living. And I started thinking about the top line side of things. How can you increase income? And even if I could start a reasonably good company, employ a few thousand people, that's not at the right scale. Even if I could start, an IBM scale company over 10 years, that's what, 100,000 people. But we're in a country of 360 million. So even 100,000 employees, I can't really improve too many people's position. So that was the income side. I couldn't really do anything there. And then I looked at kind of the expense side. What's that cost of living for all these lower income families? And what are those expenses across the whole board, right? What are they expensing on today that's maybe, something that's a real pain point for them? And so I looked across all these families. I went down into Philly. I went into Atlantic City. And I started talking to some of them. And there was one thread that came across all of them, that they felt that they were paying too much for, that was inconvenience for them. And that thread was banking. So banks are the keystone to our ability to participate in the economy. And when you're not banked, you're in the cash economy, and the cost of credit is just like skyrocketed. It varies by state, but honestly, some of these interest rates to get credit in Florida, it can be a few $1,000s that you're paying. And someone like you and I can get credit for relatively cheap. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna start a bank for low-income families. But rather than a brick and mortar branch like banks do today, I'm not gonna have that. I'll just have a low-cost smart home device. I'll package that smart home device with 5 debit cards, and we'll sell it for 25 bucks in a retail setting, and we'll call it Dala. So, if you're overdraft, let's say you're 90 in the negative, you as a family can just go buy Dala out of Best Buy for 25 bucks, and it replaces your bank, the smart home device. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like real quick. So this is our device. It's a smart home device. It plugs in. It's just like a tablet. It sits there in the counter, and then the family can interact with it for any financial services. And so what I wanted to do to actually start this company, I said, okay, I got to leave my employer because I've already been thinking about this for some time, and I'm not going to be able to get too much done if I'm juggling both jobs. So I did the jump. 7 days after I left, I was on a plane to India. I landed in Bangalore, and then 2 days after being in Bangalore, I got a WeWork office, and I was hiring people in Bangalore. So that was really exciting. And I chose Bangalore because I looked at the WeWork network all around the world. I said, I have $20,000. Where can I get the biggest return on my 20K? There was Eastern Europe, there was a few other areas. Eastern Europe had some political challenges at the time, so that really wasn't a safe place. So I went to Bangalore, and I just did it. And then over the course of the next 7 months, I spent 2 months in India, I spent a month in Dubai, I spent 3 months in Indonesia. And during this period, I was really learning about how banking was done outside of the United States, because there's a lot of lower income communities, right? And so there's a lot of different models going on outside of here in the US in the banking space. So I was learning over that 7-month period. And now I'm back in the US, and I am working on my startup here with a few good people. We have a team of 4, so I have a community lead in Atlantic City. I have an industrial designer over in India that I work with, and then I have a technology advisor in Dubai who's helping me with the device. What I want to share with you guys this evening were the kind of the 3 core things that I wish I knew when I left my employer to actually do the startup. The first one was that when I was hiring, when I was putting up these LinkedIn ads, I thought I was recruiting for talent. You know, I was looking for their resumes to see their skill level, seeing their employers. And what I quickly realized was that it was actually what level of excitement or what level of passion can I get them to show for the business? That was the main thing, because you know when it's a passionate employee for you, they're going to put in the hours, no matter how long it takes. And so that's something I learned really quickly, where you know, talent was one thing, but really, who's really excited about working on the project? So now, as I'm screening candidates, it's really all personality. It's all, you know, how excited are they on my pitch? And I think Dala's done a really good job of that now. We've gotten a lot of people interested in the business. The second thing that I didn't know coming out of corporate America was networking. You know, I think a lot of us, we're probably familiar with it, but in the corporate world, you're adverse to meeting new people in a lot of ways. You know, if you have a back-to-back schedule all day, you know, a new person coming into your life and, you know, networking and all that, it wasn't something that was really welcome. And so coming into this whole startup scene, networking has been a huge blessing. I mean, John Mercer brings the best energy to the community here, and he's great. And he's really, yeah, let's give him a round of applause. And so the way I think about the mechanics of networking now, you know, it's not about the peer-to-peer relationship. It's about what opportunities do they have access to that are valuable for you. So that was something, you know, I wasn't familiar with, but now, you know, we're really interested in it. The last thing I had to do when I was, you know, starting this business was I had to index my distractions. There's a lot of distractions in life, you know, across the board. And when I got home from this trip and I was going full speed, I looked at my phone and I saw that I had spent 48 hours in like over a 3-week period, roughly about 48 hours a week on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook, and a few other things. And I said to myself, like, you know, if I'm doing this, I left my job, like I really can't have these distractions like throughout my day, right? Think about how much more I could be doing. So I actually just ditched my phone, turned off the data plan, and got a feature phone for about 2 months of just calling and texting. And that let me really focus on the business. And you know, that was something that I think helped me tremendously, because it gave me that free time to go back and think about the business, even if it was something like going for a walk, just to brainstorm. And so, you know, so that was really helpful for me too. So right now, like I said, we have 4 employees. We're working pretty hard. We're getting ready to pilot our smart home device. We're going to give it to probably about 20 families right now, and just see what the engagement is. And yeah, so we're really excited. I'm happy to take any questions. But yeah, the company's called Dala. We're going to be hopefully doing big things in a lot of these low-income communities. So yeah, we're very excited. Thanks to you.